And welcome back to more coverage of WonderCon here on Sidewalks. The man sitting next to me right now is a very familiar face. You might have seen him in a show called Once and Again and the 4400. Please welcome actor Billy Campbell. Welcome to Sidewalks.
Thank you. Thanks.
A lot of people may recognize your face, but they may not know anything about, where you're from originally and how'd you got started in acting.
I am from Charlottesville, Virginia, on the east coast of the U.S., and I got started in acting because I was in art school in Chicago. After high school in Virginia, I'd left to go to Chicago go to art school. I wanted to draw comic books. And while I was in art school in Chicago, I dropped in on an acting class that a friend of mine was in, and I got interested in that. And from there, I went to Los Angeles and been doing that.
So do you remember what your first role was?
My very first professional role on stage was on stage, and it was at the Beacon Street Theater in Chicago, and it was in a show called Dungeon Master, which was a live action version sort of Dungeons and Dragons on stage with audience participation. Yeah.
What was your first movie role? Was it was a Disney film, wasn't it? The Rocketeer?
Yeah, my first feature film role was as the Rocketeer. That came out in 1991.
Do you like doing sci-fi type projects?
I do. I'm drawn to sci-fi and fantasy and speculative fiction, I should say. I'm drawn to anything that's well written. I'm particularly drawn to speculative fiction.
Yeah, you've been on Star Trek Next Generation. People may remember you on that, and the guest spot. I think you were with Terry Hatcher on that too.
That's right.
What was that like?
I think that was her. If I'm not mistaken, that might have been her first time on camera. She was the transporter chief. Yeah, and I was beaming aboard and thinking, "Wow, what a hot-looking transporter chief." Yeah.
Well, look at her now. She's a desperate housewife. So let's talk about the 4400. I mean, how'd you get involved with that project?
I was, I don't know how that, I think they came sniffing up my tree, basically. Barking up my tree, whatever you want to call it. And I had plans to sail around the world at that point. Had plans for a couple of years. And I told them that. And they were okay with it. Bizarrely enough, I figured they would go screaming in the other direction and find someone else. But they conceived of the character as recurring and not a regular at first. They started writing the show and found that the character was more sort of integral to what they wanted to do, to their long-range concept of the show, and so it became the opposite of the usual situation in which an actor wants to do more of a show than the show. Usually the show has a 6-year option. The actor wants more episodes, and they're like, maybe not. I don't know why they're French, but and so in my situation, they wanted actually more of me than I wanted to give them, and so it was a nice situation to be in.
So what's your 4400s on USA, and then sometimes repeats on the Sci-Fi Channel here in the United States. What's the taping schedule like? I mean, it's not like a regular series that you do all 22 episodes in one season. You get a little break, but what's your schedule like for that?
We do 13 episodes in a season, so that's, let's see, 8 working days an episode. That's 105 days for a whole season. Given weekends, that's what are there? There are 5. There's 20 work days in a week. 2, 4, 6, 8, right? Something like that. So it's 5. It's basically 5 months or so. 5 months or so, and it's a fantastic situation, especially for an actor, because you get the rest of the year to do whatever else you can get done.
Yeah. Now, there may be 1 or 2 people who haven't seen the show. Tell us a little bit about your character.
Well, the show, in essence, is about people being returned from wherever they've been. They've been abducted. Everyone who's ever been abducted is returned at once. They don't know where they've been. For them, no time has passed, and some of them have special powers. I am a returnee. I haven't been gone for very long, maybe just a couple of years. I regained control of my financial empire. I guess I was kind of like a Richard Branson type of character or something like that. And I ostensibly moved to protect the 4400 because, as you can imagine, there's a sort of a severe public lashing out at them. They're kind of ostracized, and there's violence against them. And but it's not clear entirely that I haven't inspired that violence against them, so that I might gather them under my wing and create a kind of cult, which it seems I have done. And I have, so I create a 4400 center, which is like loosely based, I would imagine, on that other cult that we have moving around in Hollywood. And yeah, that's basically it. It's sort of how the 4400 fit back in, and I don't know if I'm good or bad.
We're gonna have to find out and watch the show.
I think so.
Do you watch it? Do you watch it at home when you have some free time? Do you watch it at home?
I don't. I haven't been home in so long. I can't even answer that question. I tend to watch it on DVD. I think when they give me DVDs from production.
Well, I got to ask this question because recently we interviewed Celia Ward, your beautiful actress from Once and Again. There's a picture of her right now. And, there's still a lot of people talking about that show. They were very disappointed that, I mean, it was on for, 3 years, 3 seasons.
Yeah.
People are still disappointed it's gone. It's not on. How do you feel about that? I mean, after all these years.
Well, I'm as disappointed as anyone. Very basically, I worked for 3 seasons with people whom I love, and I had an excuse to see them every day, and now I don't. So that's one of the sort of the joys and heartbreaks of being an actor, is that you meet all sorts of people, but then you have to leave them, and it's very difficult, even with the ones that you're intent on remaining friends with, to actually do all that much about it. I have lifelong friends that I've made through acting, but we're always working in other places, and I dearly love my Sela and all my kids, our kids, and I still talk to them, but I don't see them as often as I'd like.
Any chance of a reunion movie or anything like that? That's what everybody. When we interviewed Sela, then we asked for questions. I mean, we didn't know we were going to interview today. I was just like, Billy Campbell. When we knew we were going to interview Sela when we did the show, and people wrote in questions, I kept asking that, and unfortunately we ran out of time with Sela, and we couldn't ask that question. But any word about it?
Of a reunion movie or something?
Something.
I've heard nothing, no rumors at all about a reunion, anything. I just want a reunion.
Yeah.
The hell with the movie. I'd just like to get together, drink some beers or something. But, yeah, I know. I don't know of anything.
Too bad. Well, we have some other people want to talk to you. There's some beautiful women on the next to me going over here now. They're going, I want to interview him. So quickly, finish this interview. We do a show that helps rising performers, and we try to get career advice. Do you have any for aspiring actors?
The advice that was given to me by my long deceased acting teacher in Chicago was very simple. It was basically, work hard and keep working. You won't ever make it if you quit. And you'll never know if you could have made it. So it's, it can be quite difficult and disheartening, but the very most basic advice is never quit.
Well, great advice. Thank you, Billy Campbell, for joining us. I appreciate it.